You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If on the other hand you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday, 22nd day of February, 2019. Thanks so much for joining us. If you're returning, welcome back. If you are here for the very first time, a special welcome to you. We're certainly glad to have you with us. We are now in our second decade of broadcast history. Grab a day planner, pencil us in for the next one. Fair enough? Sounds good. All right, I have a chart up, S&P 500 Emini Futures. If you cannot see this chart, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds, and you'll have complete access to the show, to the chat box, to the charts, to the discussion, everything you need. If you're out of the office working from a cell phone or a tablet and you want to see the charts, got you covered. Go to youtube.com/CFRN/live. During the show, you'll see our live simulcast each and every day. And thanks to the good folks at YouTube for carrying the show. All right, where are we on this chart? This S&P 500 Emini Futures. Well, let me show you. Weekly trading zone, 2791/92. Let me give you a little bit of news, then we'll look at the numbers. We'll get a recap from Michael. We'll come back and we'll talk about this chart and the dynamic behind it. The last time we were at 91.92, consolidated, and that's what we're doing again here. Okay, consolidation. All right, so hang on to that and let's look at the news. Cryptocurrency derivatives kicked into high gear in 2017 when two of the largest FX exchanges in the world, the CBOE and the CME Group, launched their Bitcoin futures products. Initially, interest in these markets was high. Yeah, we were all a titter about it, right? We were talking it up. But a few months later, crypto derivative volume on these exchanges started to decline. Now, the S&P 500 E-mini, as an example of something on the CME, when they came out with the mini contract, a fifth the size of the large contract traded on the floor, it was an immediate success. Off to the races. Never looked back. Volume's not quite as high as it was back around 2005, but it's substantial. It's all you need. Now, we thought perhaps we'll see the same thing with the Bitcoin futures. Yeah, but we didn't. In the summer of 2018, futures contracts from the two regulated exchanges finally began to rise again, and interest in these products has started to increase significantly. Last December, futures volumes were lower and spectators saw some signs of backwardation, which means the derivatives predictions on the price of BTC are significantly lower than the prices on global spot exchanges. However, there was a shift in 2019, this year, as prices returned to normalcy between both futures and spot values, and volumes increased in the month of January. Futures products from traditionally regulated exchanges, the CME and the CBOE, represented 11.7% of the Bitcoin to USD futures market in January, up from 6.36% in December. That's a double, whatever kind of math you use. Crypto Compare's data shows that the CME Group has seen more volume than the CBOE in January, but non-traditional futures trading platforms stole the show last month. Research reveals that Bitflyer FX traded the most BTC derivatives products in January with a daily average transactional value of 1.13 billion. Let me give you that again. Bitflyer FX traded the most Bitcoin derivative products in January with a daily average transactional value of just over 1 billion. That's B as in billion. Over 1 billion US dollars per day. That's the daily part. The analysis also highlights the perpetual futures volume last month offered by BitMEX, which was roughly 665 million. Now, as February comes to an end, the CME Group's recent internal email to investors indicates this month has seen an appreciable jump in interest. Fast forward, we're now in February this month. February the 19th set a new record with 18,338 contracts traded. This is equivalent to 91,690 Bitcoin, or roughly $360 million. Now, CME Group's volume statistics show a gradual rise in the last 2 months compared to the slight slump in the fourth quarter of last year. Moreover, the future spike on the 19th also took place on the CBOE exchange, as the XBT futures daily market statistics show a higher than usual 4,945 contracts. The spike is a big jump from the typical daily average of 700 to 1,500. CME Group's investors note details that the February rise in volume stems from large open interest holders. Institutional interest has gradually risen, and the number of large open interest holders has been holding steady around 43 since November. A LOIH, that's a large open interest holder, is an entity that holds at least 25 BTC contracts. Over the last year, derivatives and perpetual Bitcoin swaps have continued to show growth and spontaneous surges in trading activity. Traditional Bitcoin futures products seem to be gaining interest from institutional buyers, while leveraged bets with no specific expiration dates continue to see swaths of retail investors play in the market. Even though the CME Group, CBOE, and Ledger X products are doing well, they are a long way from matching the volumes executed through perpetual Bitcoin swap markets managed by BitMEX, BitFlyer, Bitfinex, Deribit, Crypto Facilities, and OKEX. Well, there you go. A little bit of news. Let's take a look at that thing. Let's see. Volume of 3. We don't want that one. $56. That's in the last 30 minutes. Let's look at it on a daily. Okay. 3,415 so far. Now down across the bottom here, if we go back into December, there's a daily volume of 71, 67, into January, 23, February 18th, 563, and then here's the 19th we were just talking about. On the CME, got 2,185, and then on the 20th we broke 1,000, and on the 21st broke 1,000, and today so far 3,415. All right, let's take a look at the numbers from around the world. These are the cash markets. And what's the S&P here as it starts to come off that weekly zone. Now we spiked it the first time up. The first time up we got rejected. The second time up we spiked it. And third time, well, we consolidated, and let's just see where the market sends us. Okay, it may do nothing more than send us right back down into the BBC for another leg to the upside. Next zone overhead for this week is 2807/08. We have spent the entire week between these two zones. Yes, it's a very wide zone, but it's very unusual to spend a whole week between just two zones, except for this little foray to the upside up here. All right, cash markets. Let's go find them. We'll start with the Dow here in the US. Again, this is the cash market. We'll get back to the futures in just a moment. When you're in the car tooling down the road, listening to the radio, and they give you a little bit of news, and they give you some numbers, like with the Dow's up this much and the S&P's up that much, or they're talking the cash market, okay? The index, the market you can't trade, right? Okay, the Dow's currently up 173 points. NASDAQ is up 57. S&P 500 up 15. and the Russell 2000, I'm sorry, Russell 2000 up 14. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 42 cents, trading 57.38 last. Gold up $6.29, trading 13.3410 last. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei was down 38 points. Shanghai at the close up 52. And for the Shanghai, that's almost 2%. And the Hang Seng at the close up 186 points. In European markets, the FTSE at the close up 11, the DAX up 34, the CAC up 19. Now, again, with the exception of the Shanghai, we got no movers, we got no shakers, but we do have some predominantly green markets. It was a mixed day in Asia thanks to the Nikkei. It was a green day in Europe, and so far it is a Big Green Radio Friday here in the US of A. Let's go to Michael, get a recap of what happened in the live trading room today, and then we'll be back. We'll go over this S&P 500 chart, and we'll talk to John, and of course, answers to your questions. Take it away.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Here we go. There. Okay.
Got it. Okie doke. All right, see you in a few.
Uh-oh. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Because I think I just lost my audio for a second.
You did for a second, but you came right back.
Okay, good. You should be looking at my screens now. And we'll jump right into this. Okay. Okay. All right. So today is it's Friday, the 22nd day of February 2019. I was saying earlier, in 3 years from now, 3 years from today, it'll be 2/22/22. I just find that amusing. Anyway, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the homepage at CFRN.net, and over here on the right-hand column, it says 5-day free trial applied at CFRN.net. If you click on that, you will be brought to this page right here, where all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Hit the submit button, and you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link, okay? If you don't click the confirmation link, well, then we don't know that you took the free trial, okay? So you must click on the confirmation link. All right, the spreadsheet. Had another green day today. We have, what do we have left for this month? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 days left this month. So I'll have to add a couple more rows in here. But, yes, we had another green day today. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 22nd day of February 2019. We made 20 ticks on crude and we lost 8 ticks on the ES. That put us at exactly the goal for the day, at $100 a contract. It took 91 minutes and 7 trades to get there, and we took a total of 7 trades today. So on the month now, we're at $2,072. That's over 15 days, averaging $138 a day. On the year now, we're at $4,103. That's over 34 days, averaging $120 per day. Okay, so let's go see what we did or didn't do. Yeah, that is the wrong thing to look at. Here we go. Today we didn't do anything with the gold, and I don't think we missed anything anywhere. No, there was just nothing to be had with gold today. During the break, right here during the break, there was a long opportunity, and that was all there was. Just that one long opportunity during the break. On the euro, well, the euro had some movement here during the break, but and it had some movement in the pre-market. But while we were watching it, it had one momentum short trade here that I missed. And then over here, I don't know why I don't. Oh, because it wasn't trending. That's why. It didn't have a good trend going. That's why I didn't bounce there. Then we needed to break dynamic resistance, and when it finally did, it just kept going and did not give us another trade setup. We had another momentum short right over here. that went a couple of ticks into profit and then came back, went down a little bit more, but didn't give a follow-up trade. We came over here. Yeah, this is during the break. Right in here, there was a bounce off the BBC right here during the break, and one more trade right there. And then it just tanked right here. It just tanked. I don't know why it tanked so bad, but it did. And over here on the crude, let's see, we started out here on the crude. This is the pre-market, and then it changed directions. We ended up with a break even on our first opportunity right here. And I didn't take this bounce right here because it wasn't trending. Okay, but then it started to trend, and we took a break even on that right there. 7707 base. That's funny. 777s. That's lucky 7. That's good. Then right here, I missed a momentum long trade. Over here, we grabbed a bounce off the BBC. We picked up 7 ticks on that one, then 5 ticks on this one, then 7 ticks on this one, and 1 tick on this one. And this is where we got the goal for the day. Okay, we missed this short here toward the end of the session this morning. We missed that short, and since then, you see, I drew this line right here. That's because that's where that needed to go to continue the trend. And you can see it has not continued the trend since then. We have lower highs and a flat bottom. So really, there's no trading in here during the break. Okay, you guys all see that? Yeah, it was mostly momentum. So it was one bounce off the BBC right here. But Brad, the rest of them were, that was momentum, that was momentum. This was also, no, that wasn't a momentum. It was a close above the trend line on that one. But this one that I missed was momentum. And in the pre-market, that was a momentum. So, yeah, it was mostly momentums this morning on the crude. On the ES, now the ES had 2 ranges that it was in this morning. It started out in this range, this huge range right here, and then it broke up above it. We took a break-even momentum trade there, and then we stopped out pretty much to the tick. I think it went 1 tick beyond our stop on this one, and then it went up and did what it should have done. And then it got into a range again. Toward the end of the session, it started to break out of the range, and it went right into the weekly trading zone. So while it was in the zone, you know, there's nothing you can do when it's in the zone like that. So we ended up with -8 on the ES when we stopped out back here. But you see, we had higher highs and higher lows, so we were in a trend. And I was hopeful that we're going to get up above the MA1 at least, so I'd get the risk off the trade. But it stopped me out. I think our entry was at 85.75, and you see it went down to 83.51, 1 tick beyond our stop. So it is what it is. It's going to happen from time to time. You're going to get stopped out. Okay. Let me check something else here really quick. Okay. So we'll go back here to the spreadsheet right quick. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. I need to add a couple more rows. Copy that. Paste it. Paste it. Okay. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 22nd day of February 2019. We made 20 ticks on crude and we lost 8 ticks on the ES. That put us at exactly $100 per contract today. Today it took 91 minutes and 7 trades to get to $100 a contract, and we took a total of 7 trades. So on the month now, we're at $2,072. That's over 15 days, averaging $138 per day. On the year, we're at $4,103. That's over 34 days, averaging $120 per day. Now, Again, those are one contract, 2 hours per day. If we were to add a contract per month, we'll say, add one contract per month, and you did everything exactly the same as I did, then this is where you'd be right now. Or if you just started out with 10 contracts and traded 10 contracts and did everything exactly the same as I did, just add a 0 onto that, it'd be 41,000 right now. Yeah. Last year's stuff, if you want to get a better taste of it, you know, how it's been running, then you can just look at last year's totals right up here. Okay. All right. And go back here. If you have not taken a free trial, go to the home page at CFRN.net. Right over here in the right-hand column, it says 5-day free trial apply.cfrn.net. Or you can scroll down to where it says free 5-day trial down there. Or use our proprietary indicators free right there. Or you can go all the way down to the bottom. All the way down to the bottom. It says start free trial, no credit card required. Right there. Okay. And that, my friends, is it for the recap. So with that, we can pass it back out to Studio A in fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready. Dwayne may not be ready. Okay. Well, that's all good. Here on the euro, we are starting to get a pullback. We had this huge leg down, and it's starting to pull back. Now, if you go here, drawing tools, now I would look for it to get, the BBC is right here at 38.2%. 50% is up here. So it looks like there was buying pressure in this area, right in this area right here. So if it gets up there, it'll probably keep going, I would think, probably up to this area. But it's possible that it gets rejected right here with the BBC at 38.2% retracement. Okay. And the euro and gold usually slow down after 11:30 in the 11:30 in the morning. Yeah, it actually had some movement today, but it's odd that gold is going up and the euro is going down, or was going down. That's not normal. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Anyone? Linda, once how'd you set the weekly zones, but you couldn't remember, you looked for a video, you can't find the recording. It was on linked on the wrong page, but the link wasn't working. Okay, I will show you. Okay, I will show you. All you have to do is right click like that, go to indicators. Oh, first, before you do that, hang on, before you do that, go here, to your weekly trading zone email. Okay, go to the weekly trading zone email, copy those numbers right there. Copy those numbers. Okay. And then come in here. Oh, and when you copy those numbers, take note of the count. Okay. The count on the ES is 4. It didn't make it in there this week, but the count on the ES is 4. But take note of the count. Okay. And I'll explain that to you in just a second. Then come over here. Go to indicators, CFRN. Go to CFWTZ. If it's not in the CFRN section, then it's in the what's the other section? There's another section that it'll be in. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Imported.
Imported. There you go. Thank you, Valerie. It's in the imported section. Okay, it'll be in the imported section if it's not in the CFW, if it's not in the CFRN section. But go there like that. Now right here it says WTZ values. If you got the one that's in the imported section, it's going to say past values. Past values. P-A-S-S-E-D values. Paste that link of values right in here. Okay. And make sure the count is correct. That count that you had to take note of, make sure it's correct. Okay. Now what that does, I'll show you a notepad. Hold on. Let me bring up my notepad. Here. I don't want to do it on that one. Okay, I'll do it right here. Hold on. See, this is the string of numbers, and the count says where to cut the number off and draw a line. So the count for the ES is 4. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Draw a line there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Draw a line. 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 1, 2, 3, 4. You see? And so what it's doing is splitting it all up like that and drawing a line at each one of those points. So you got to make sure that that count number is correct. If you set the count number wrong, then it's going to mess everything up. Okay? Now, it does that for you. You don't have to go draw the lines. It does that for you. You just have to paste that value in here and make sure the count is correct. Okay? Do I go to the same place to update it? Yeah, when, you know, like Monday morning when you come in here to update it, this is what I do on Monday morning. I would come in and I'd hit this box right here and hit the X. And I do that on all my charts. I mean, I can do it right now, but I do it on all my charts. It gets rid of all the drawing objects because every tick, it redraws those lines. Okay? So, my old zones are on here right now. Now, what I would do on Monday morning is come in and go view all active indicators, double click on the CFWTZ, then double click here on the numbers, right click, and just paste right on top of it and say close. And ta-da, there it is. And then what I do, Linda, is I would grab a rectangle, oops, hit close, I would grab a rectangle like this and put it right there. Because when you change time frames and come back to the 4-tick range, sometimes it won't reprint them. But if you draw the rectangle, it'll always reprint the rectangle. Okay? So the properties on my rectangle, if I right click and go to properties, mode is set to ray. Okay? The mode is set to ray. That'll extend it out to the right. Okay? Okay. And with that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, John's not out there yet. I don't know if he's coming in today.
Yeah, he'll be in here in a couple minutes, I think.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so here we are, still consolidating up at the 2791/92. And here's a likely scenario. That would be what we saw here. We had a bullish cross. Oh, let's go back over here. We had a bullish cross and price pulled away and price pulled back, and we got it up close and we ran up. We talked about that yesterday. We had a bearish cross, leg down, retracement right to the BBC. Price always reverts to the mean, and then a leg down. And yesterday during the broadcast, we had suggested possibly a 2778 to 2776 trail if possible tip, and it dropped 13 points. From 78 we got down to a low of 64 and a quarter. Yeah. so a little over 13 points on this move. Then we had another move last night here that did not get wings, and actually it got wings. It didn't get legs, it got wings, and it turned up. And so we had to pull back into the BBC this morning. So off the open, we were looking to buy 27.85, and that has now run up to 27.94.50. So almost 10 points in that move. That's the swing high. So now what? Well, the highest probability thing is for price to just simply revert to the mean again, pull back to the BBC, and attempt another leg up. Okay, if that happens, we got the zone overhead, we got a high, oh yeah, I think John's in. He just jingled my phone. Got it?
Hello.
Got it. Got it. There he is.
Thanks very much. Hey John, welcome to the show.
Hi there. Thanks for the invite. Hello, Mike.
Hello.
Hope you're having a great Friday, everybody.
So far, so good.
Yeah, it really is. It's. Look, we got lucky yesterday. I kind of had a, when I saw that second bottom be put in, right before the close, we took a shot at it, covered and reversed. We have been short from the previous day down to this bottom, and it's worked out real well. We've got stops in just actually about pretty much around here also. However, I think we're going to probably later on this afternoon, we're probably going to rally again, possibly up towards 27.95, maybe even 2800. Like we were saying, is likely. There's a lot of good news coming, potentially next week. You've got this China negotiations that are helping the market go higher. Had some very good earnings reports this morning. There's some incredible stuff going on that pushed Intel higher. The semiconductors are up very substantially. You got Roku came out. I haven't seen the numbers, but the stock is up dramatically.
Did you hear who's going public now? Pinterest.
Oh, I didn't hear. I think I heard that Lyft was going to go public.
They are.
The other one.
Yeah, they've been planning it for a while, but I think this is the first news we heard on Pinterest today.
Okay. The other one, check out OLED. This is just gigantic. I don't know, whatever they did. This stock is up. It's up about almost $25 from the last few days. And Nvidia
Display Corp. Okay.
Yeah, I think they make screens for Apple phones, and the Nvidia Boeing is making new record highs today.
Have you seen this new folding screen?
You mean, no, I haven't. No,
on the cell phone? Yeah, who is it? Samsung, I guess. They're coming out with it. Folding screen. The first true folding screen with 6 cameras.
Wow.
Now, I heard a guy talk about it on some television show the other day, and he said, if I could make my tablet fold down to the size of a phone, he says, I think I would be excited about that. He said, but the ability to, turn this into this, he said, I'm not that excited about it. It's pretty neat. I thought they would have had a video here.
Dwayne, click on that shot of the moon. Just go back up to the top. There's a thing about the moon there. Some kind of composite picture.
Where?
See what that looks like. Up a bit more. There, photo of the moon.
This guy shot 50,000 pics to make an 81 megapixel photo.
That's a pretty high density photo. Oh wow! Yeah.
It does show up good.
Yeah, interesting.
It may look like it was captured using some ultra advanced and expensive equipment, but it was actually created by capturing and combining 50,000 photos using a $250 camera.
Wow. Oh, let's look at that one. Wow, look at that. That's pretty high grain, right?
Yeah, no, it is. It really is. Definitely gets your attention.
So
back to this folding screen here. Take a quick look at this. It's $2,000.
yeah, I saw a phone price that looked a bit high this morning, and I was wondering what the deal was, and now we know, I guess.
Samsung Galaxy Fold. There we go. Are they going to unfold it? Come on. There we go. Huh. That's pretty... See how it just seamlessly comes up in that one screen? When they open it? Watch. See that?
Hold on.
You got a screen when it's folded, and then when you open it up, you've got... I don't know how they do that.
Wow.
Apple's gonna have a difficult time when they release their products this fall, whatever it is they're going to release, because this is kind of a show stealer.
That's amazing. Because
and also apparently the Chinese are like light years ahead of us with this 5G business.
oh, I know. And well, by the way, you know, we're getting out some pretty good advice on recently on this show, including buying Boeing $120 lower than where it is right now. Check out T-Mobile, TMUS.
I'm bringing it up right now. There you go.
Look at that! What a breakout! I mean, I told you this thing is going higher.
We were talking about this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So back it out 10 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, we'll go 9. We'll take the 10. We'll go here.
Yeah.
You know.
Not bad.
So if we were talking about it here at $68, it's now $73. So, worse things could happen.
Yeah. Check out Xilinx. We were talking about that when it was like 90 something. XLNX.
Okay, so this T-Mobile is it's at all-time highs.
Yeah, it's very
Is that
bullish.
correct?
Very bullish. Yeah, absolutely.
All-time? Yeah. Okay. Which one did you say? Xilinx. What is it? XLNX. XLNX. Right. Here we go.
Look at that. Look at that. We talked about it the day it gapped up under 100. See that?
Right
That was the day we highlighted it. The next one is Keys, Keys.
KEYS.
Look
We
at
ran
that.
into some trouble today.
Yeah.
What is that up there? Anything?
But tremendous.
This is an all-time high too, right?
We were talking about that literally when we were around 65 or so. Maybe 60, maybe 68, I think, possibly. But anyway, still had a tremendous run. And there's more. These stocks are going higher, all of them. Check out Oracle, ORCL. Just making a new high today.
That's not an all-time high though for Oracle.
Not quite. It's very close though. Very close. We're only about $1 away from all-time highs. But look at that. I mean, that's a really powerful up move developing in this stock. It kind of looks a little bit like T-Mobile did a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's the other one. Well, SOXL is we want. I think we talked about that the same day as Xilinx.
What was it?
SOXL. That's the one. Yeah.
SOXL.
Yeah.
There we go.
You know, tremendous up move. Is that weekly or daily?
Weekly. You want to see daily?
Yeah, I think the daily is probably more dramatic.
There's daily.
And it's a potential. A lot of these things are potential island bottoms. That whole anomaly caused by this downdraft.
Have you heard of this one? This thing just started trading. It's communication services, bullish indicator.
Yeah.
And then the inverse of it is, so it's talk, communication, and then the inverse is mute. And it also just started trading back, what is it, February, January 14th? Okay.
Oh, listen, check out Newmont Mining, NEM.
There you go.
Released earnings today. The stock is really performing very, very well. And the other one is Royal Gold, RGLD.
They were estimated to gain, to have a positive 23 cents, and it came out a negative.
I don't know.
Is that, well, that's what it says on the screen. See that?
No. Yeah. Maybe they were expecting it.
No. They haven't posted it yet. I'm sorry, I was misreading this. There's the estimate, and there's the worst case scenario.
Right.
And they haven't posted it yet.
Right.
It says it came out the 21st. I don't know. Maybe that is. I don't know. I'd have to go look at the.
Yeah. So, check out Royal RGLD. Look at that. Looks. I mean, look. If you can put that to a weekly check. I mean, it's this. Both these stocks are going to all-time highs before too long. Look at that. And check out JNUG. Let's have a look at JNUG. See what that looks like today.
There it is on the daily.
Yeah, I mean, look at the way the market has gone back against that reversal a few days ago. If this thing starts going to 14, 15, it's going to rip higher. It's very, very bullish, the stock.
Well, I mean, how long has it been? It's been lingering now for.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, it's got a fantastic base on it. And,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, this thing starts getting up into the 25, 30 area. It's probably going to go to 50 before it kind of runs into trouble. It's got a lot of upside potential. And the gold, the gold itself is acting really well today. Remember, we talked about it yesterday, coming down into the mid-20s, sort of 13.25, and that's about as far as it got, I think. And it's up really, really nicely today.
Yeah, there was a request here. I'm just scrolling through some of these messages here. INCP. Is that Intercept?
Yeah, Intercept has actually had a pretty good day today. It's bounced about $4 off the low.
Is it IN? It's not INCP.
Sorry, ICPT. Sorry.
Is that what you were looking for, Mike? INCP you typed in, but I don't get that as a valid signal.
I probably said ICPT. Yeah.
Okay, let's try that. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it doesn't look like much on the chart you've got there, but on the daily, it's a fairly decent move today.
Let's put it on a daily. Here we go.
Did we put Roku up yet?
We did not. ROKU?
Yeah. That's a big day today for Roku.
With Google coming out with their cable channels, you might think that would put a dent and Roku, but apparently not.
It may affect it down the road, but it's not bothering it today. You
Not at
know.
all.
So have a look at Intel, INTC. See what
They
that
haven't
looks like.
reported earnings yet. When does Roku? Do they report today?
I don't know, but there's something big going on with this thing today.
Oh, which one did you say?
INTC. Yeah, look at that gap. This thing is finally getting some traction. If you could turn it to a weekly, see what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, this thing is going to go to new highs soon. That's a very, very powerful looking structure.
Mm-hmm. It is. Very much
So, what about? Let's have a look at AMD. I haven't checked that one for a while. Yeah.
So you go back up to challenge the highs.
Yeah. And NVIDIA. Let's have a see what NVDA. Yeah, I'm not so struck on that. That looks a little bit. If there's another downturn, you'd probably want to short that stock.
If that gets above 175, though, I think you could see 225.
Oh yeah, you could. It's got to get out of that little sort of double rally.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit suspect,
Yeah,
because
it does look a little odd.
Yeah, it got murdered, this stock, literally. I mean, it got really hammered. It's not got a very good structure to rise from just now. Might actually be, turning, might be. Let's have a look at Maxim. I haven't looked at that for a while. MXIM. That's actually looking pretty good. I'd almost, if you've got extra money, I'd almost keep a long position on Maxim, because you never know. One of these days, this thing could open $20 higher on a takeover. Really could happen. The company's doing pretty well. Check out MANU, Manchester United. Okay, this is probably a buy, because it looks like the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia wants to buy this company, and it's kind of weird that the stock isn't higher. To be honest with you, it's good that it's going up today finally, but he's offering about $4.5 billion for it, I think, which would.
What do they do?
That's Manchester United, the football club.
Oh, it is, okay. It is the sports team.
Yeah. So, and I think, if, Manchester City is owned by one of these crown princes from Dubai, from, the United Arab Emirates. So there's a kind of an unlimited checkbook to buy high quality players. And Manchester City has been, pretty invincible in the last year or two. And I think the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia wants to do the same for Manchester United, so that they can make it the #1 team in the world again. I mean, it's pretty much the most valuable football team. It certainly will be if it gets taken over for $4.5 billion. I think it'll be head and shoulders more valuable than any other team. So. It's judging by the way this stock's acting, I'd say this deal could be announced pretty soon. They've denied it a few times, but there's a high probability that. And by the way, the team is doing great. They've won the last.
Who rejected, officials or?
Don't know. It's hard to. When I first saw the news flash, I was kind of wow. I really thought that the stock would be much higher, but for some reason, there was some kind of a they say they issued a false report or something. But there's obviously something going on there, and just the fact that Saudi Arabia is looking to just pay more than anybody ever dreamed of. It's certainly going to make a lot of people pretty rich, because there's all kinds of celebrities and people who've got big stakes in Manchester United, and it's owned by this, you know, the Glazers have the biggest share, one of the biggest, pretty much the biggest share of the company. And actually talked to the father about 10 years ago about another issue, but you know, there's a pretty formidable guy. I mean, I think they originally bought Manchester United for maybe less than $1 billion, something like that, and you know, to cash in at $4.5 billion, not a bad trade to make.
No, not at all.
Yeah. No. And these, you know, these football franchises, both the NFL and the soccer, really have, you know, they're just going to keep going up in the future. It's just the way the world works. You know, I talked to a guy the other day, not so long ago. He was trying to buy a couple of English clubs for about 150 million, 200 million, and you know, those clubs already are worth 500 million or more. So it just shows you, you know, how much upside even the smaller clubs have these days. And you know, I mean, the U.S. soccer, MLS, Major League Soccer in the U.S. is really becoming, you know, a pretty potent force in terms of the valuation of these different franchises. And you know, one of the most amazing stories, I mean, it's fascinating to see all these different clubs. You know, they don't stay hot for too long in the US. You know, they kind of have a really good year or two, and then they go in the dumps. Yeah. You know, it's amazing. I mean, it's just it's not like the UK where you got Manchester United is a dominant, you know, and you know, there's obviously the top 4 teams in the US are probably, sorry, the UK are Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester United, Manchester City, and maybe Tottenham, and the rest are the kind of also rans most of the time. But you know, it's not the same in the US. However, there have been some extraordinary developments. You know, just like Leicester a few years ago, nobody gave Leicester a hope in hell of winning the Premier League. And I think if you'd put a bet on them, you would have made, like, you know, 100 times your money or something on it, because that was the odds they were offering, like 100 to 1 chance of winning, and they ended up winning the Premier League for the first time ever. And then, you know, the same thing happened with Atlanta in the US. I mean, and the reason why it won was they had a fantastic manager, you know, a fantastic coach, who is an Argentinian, and he's a legend, this guy, and he just turned the team around. And I mean, they just were invincible and won this thing hands down last year. And interestingly enough, that coach has been retained by Mexico to be their, you know, the coach for the next 4 years to the World Cup. And they've had a lot of problems with different coaches. They haven't really had much success with all kinds of turnover and everything, and the US team is the same. I guess the US team are probably weeping and gnashing their teeth that they weren't able to bag this guy to be the US team coach, because anybody who can take a team from obscurity to the top in the way that Atlanta did is just like, it's just staggering, frankly. You know, and the same thing is going on with DC United, where you know, they've got Wayne Rooney, which helps a lot. But you know, I would say if it wasn't for Atlanta, DC United might have had a better chance of being a lot higher in the rankings. But Atlanta really stole the show last year. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see if this guy can make something out of the Mexican team in this coming year, and see if they start, you know, winning games instead of losing. You know, they did a pretty good job with the World Cup. I mean, they beat Germany, so they got the potential, but they probably need a really good coach to instill discipline and really, cohesiveness in a team. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they can become a dominant team in the Americas, or whether they're going to be struggling. They're interestingly, the junior teams, the under 21s and the 17s have done pretty well. They got to the World Cup final, and they actually won the World Cup a few years ago in the second league. So those players today are starting to get into the Premier, if you like. So they could have a pretty formidable team in the next few years. But it's very hard. There's a sort of cyclist, just like Brazil. Brazil's got such a reputation that they almost psych people out. They psych the other teams out.
Right.
And it's like, when the US goes up against Brazil, they very hard team to beat. Argentina is a hard team to beat. And Chile has been a very hard team to beat. So it's going to be interesting. This is I think the next few years leading up to this next World Cup could be very exciting, and this time could mean the US could be a major player, because one of their players just got bought by Chelsea for $72 million. That's the first for the US. I think his name is Pulaski. He's a very, very talented player.
Pulowski?
I think so, yeah. I'd be wrong on that.
From the audience, any news on Santa Fe?
I think in the next few days, they're very close on the filings now, and that's critical. And as per the last press release, there's probably within days of starting production, so not very, very close. So there should hopefully next week there might be some news coming out.
All right. Anything else you want to cover?
No, it's well, I guess we've got to be a little bit careful if the market doesn't sort of finish really strong this afternoon. It might be a little bit overdone on this little rally, so we've got, might be a little bit of a test, or even on the chart you're looking at there.
Yeah. So, well, here's another daily. This one. I mean, we're just running into this area here. There's a high and a high and a high, and it's
no. I mean, if it has a sudden breakout to the upside, it'll probably go to 29.40, and boy, you're getting up 29.40. You're getting starting to hit new all-time highs. I mean, that's going to be pretty dramatic. And look, when you get this kind of formation, the way we've gone up here, 9 times out of 10, before a top comes in, you tend to get a bit of a spike of some magnitude. But I think the Dow, I saw in a report this morning, the Dow is on longest winning streak since 1995. Let me tell you something. You remember where the Dow was in 1995?
No, I don't.
I'll tell you. Remember I made my legendary call on 12th of December 1994 where I said we were going to go up 1,800 points over the next couple of years, and we ended up going up about 2,000 points. Well, after that we were at about 3,400 when I made that call. So plus 2,000 took us to about 5,400, over 5,000 for the first time in history. That's where we were when we had the last longest winning streak. So what that tells you is you don't get longest winning streaks are very rare. It's, 20 something years since that happened. Where did we go next? The Dow doubled, and more than doubled. It went from 5,000 to 11,000. So that's potentially what we're facing here in the next few years on the Dow. Yep.
If we pull
Listen,
back,
sign off, but thanks very much, Dwayne. Have a great week, everybody, and catching up with you next week. Bye.
Have a good weekend. The shallowest retracement right here, 24% fib. We talked about it yesterday and last night. 26.85, you know, basically 100 points below us. Now, what if we don't make it all the way to the 24% fib? What if we just pull back to the BBC? Well, that drops us 50 points from where we are now, which is not a prophecy. It is simply a statement of factuality. One of two things will happen. Yes, we could go sideways for a period of time, but ultimately, we're either going to put in a higher high across here, or we won't, and won't turns into us pulling back to the BBC and to the 24% Fibonacci shallow retracement. Now, we talked yesterday, we could go all the way down to the 62. That would drop us 2,500. That's almost 300 S&P points, 3,000 Dow points below. And if we pulled all the way back to the 62% fib, would that mean the rally's over? Is it snapped? Is it broke? Well, not from a fib perspective, it's not at all, because from this high to this low, that retracement right there is a 62% fib retracement. Right there, 62%. Tag it, right back down. From the low to the high, back to the low, back to the high, back to the low. And as we came up here, so we consolidated sideways, notched it up, notched it up. How high can she go? I don't know, but we'll keep you posted day by day as it moves. And when we know where we're at on a daily, then it makes it simple, not easy, because there is no easy button in trading. I highlighted this yesterday. Support here, resistance here. On this pullback, the market found support. On this pullback, the market found resistance at basically the same price. And then look where we turned up this morning. A lag and a retracement, right? Same area. What's significant here is the lower high. And if we tune it up, yeah, there we go. So there's good support way down here at 27.65. Apparently some pretty good resistance up here. And we've poked above that weekly trading zone, 27.91/92 a couple times. Yesterday, again today. Brings us back to here. And again, the highest probability thing to happen be for price to pull back right into this area here, 27.85, and then take another run. Does that mean that's what will happen? No. Because it's the highest probability doesn't mean that's what happens. It's a business based on probabilities. If that doesn't make sense, if you don't understand that, come spend some time with us, book a free mentoring session. I'll ask Valerie to put the link in the chat box for you. If you want to talk about the alert service, you want to talk about our indicators, you want to talk about our methodology, you want to talk about anything at all, just book the session and I'll meet you there. Okay, pick a day and a time convenient for you. Just follow the link that she posts. You'll be good to go. But you can always find me in Telegram. In Telegram, just search at CFRN1. Thank you, Valerie. At CFRN1. and you'll find me. All right. Okay, so as we head into good word for the day, just keep an eye here. If we pull back and physically touch the BBC, how many? We got 13 minutes left in the life of this candle. So I say let this candle play out, and then we'll see where we go from there. Okay. All right. Yesterday we talked about being decisive. Today we'll talk about grace. Grace produces godliness. Romans 6:1. Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? One of the first trick questions put to Paul. How should we answer those who say that talking too much about God's grace causes people to think they have a license to sin? By pointing them to God's word, where it says in Romans, shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? Certainly not. How shall we who died to sin live any longer in it? Now, note the words died to sin. How shall we who died to sin live any longer in it? As you feed your new nature and starve your old one, it begins to die. You become less interested in pleasing yourself and more interested in pleasing God. Paul said in 2 Corinthians 5:14, for the love of Christ compels us. Paul was not compelled by the fear of losing his salvation, but by the need to respond to God's grace, which he had experienced. He said in Galatians 6:14, the world has been crucified to me, and I to the world. The Greek word for world is cosmos, or order. A revelation of God's grace caused the world order to lose its appeal to Paul, and he to lose his appeal to them. When properly understood, the grace of God does not prevent godliness, but produces more of it. For the grace of God that brings salvation has appeared to all men, teaching us that, denying ungodliness and worldly lusts, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in the present age, looking for the blessed hope and glorious appearing of our great God and Savior, Jesus Christ, who gave himself for us, that he might redeem us from every lawless deed and purify for himself his own special people, zealous for good works. Grace produces godliness. Titus 2:11 through 14. Well, there you have it. Good word for the day. It is the weekend, and so CFRN by law state that you must spend some quality time with your family. And of course, I'll see you in church on Sunday and Sunday night on the Globex Open. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.